Gary and Dirk.
All right, guys, thank you. There you can see the second game of the day. It is a final. The Mavs gaming gets the win, 75-53 over Raptors Uprising. We'll come upstairs since we're talking about come upstairs here to the perch. Dirk, all Mavs in this one, they led by 9 after the first quarter, 15 after 2 quarters at halftime. They got the lead as big as 25-26 there. And you look at their big four, Dimes, Ball, DeVillin, Dave Fry combining for 70 of their 75. When they can shoot it like this, we've talked about it, the Mavs and the Sixers probably the best top 2 shooting teams in the league. They look really good today.
I think kind of like the big thing, too, is that when you look at the Mavs gaming team, kind of the change-up of what they've done, it almost looks like they've kind of taken a page out of the 76ers book when it just comes down to just the pure sharp dribble driving to the rack or just moving off the ball, cutting at the right times. And I think the big thing is that you're able to get them points down the paint, something they don't typically do, and that's where it comes into transition. But you're still getting that consistent three-point shooting. You start to see Trey, he would start to not really light things up, but start hitting those threes from the corner on a consistent basis. If he was able to do that earlier in the game and he makes at least half the attempts, that's where things start to go over, because not only do you get the points, all that momentum, it starts to trigger straight into your favor. But it's another blowout coming in from these guys. And as we said, you can't stop Dimes. It's just going to make your life 10 times harder to try to come back. Because not only that, if you're not getting a stop, so majority of the time, yes, Mavs gaming points are going to be coming in from the bottom of the paint, so they're going for a lot for those twos. But they're still mixing in the threes probably more than a lot of the other teams that we have in the NBA 2K League. So on the opposite end, Raptors Uprising needs to be getting consistent scores. If anything, you just have to keep trading blows back and forth, but they weren't able to. Again, it kind of goes down to that crisis. Okay, who's going to step up and be our main scorer? They kept on referencing Detoxy's not doing so much, but he's being this role player, right? He's never, throughout his entirety of his NBA 2K career, he's never known as a huge scorer. Let me take over this entire the game. He takes a little bit of that backseat role. He's there if they need him, if he's open for a shot. It's almost like a JLB on Mavs game, where he just kind of sits in towards that corner. If somebody goes out to help on the defense, that's when you dish it to Detoxy and get him in. So maybe this is where you kind of step back a little bit. You go over things with the Raptors Uprising coach, and you kind of sit there and say, maybe let's change the archetypes up a little bit. Let's try to transition this guy into doing this. Let's get this person and go like that. So you get to the drawing board, because now you've only won one game in the tip-off tournament. You don't win this one here. You have to go play Celtics crossover later in the day, and I think that is going to be the true test where you need to bounce back, and I hope, honestly, they come out with something new.
If you are the Mavs and you look at this, because the Raptors, they talked about it before the game. They said, look, we want to slow down Dimes, make everyone else beat us, because all of the teams talk about that going up against Mavs and Dimes. But if you're the Mavs, you got to feel good about this, because it wasn't all on Dimes' shoulders.
No, that's one of the things, too, is that when this roster was drafted and you got Dimes that first pick, everybody immediately knew, okay, let's get shooters around this guy. That's how we're going to play our offense, and that's always everybody's key. The scouting report is it's not let's lock up a certain player. Let's shut down Dimes, because they know the impact that he can make. He knows the dribble combinations down to a T where he's able to create so much space. That creates the bait for people to come off and help. And when's the last time you saw a team shoot 7 of 8 coming in from the three-point line? Really never. So that's just showing, again, that consistent shooting coming from these guys. But overall, the paint presence, again, from Dave Fry, that 1-2 punch, it was showing in this one. And this is where, when we have, and I love seeing it, is when we have like these archetypes. So pure rim on pure rim, you have the same height, same stats, same badges all the way around. That's where it comes down to that pure skill. How well do you know just the kind of the tendencies of each of these builds and where you go down to? Dave Fry definitely looked like the more experienced center in that matchup.
Yeah, the Mavs put out some good film out there for everybody else to see, man. They look like a scary team today, 1-0.
Yeah, yeah. Tricky.